Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 29 of WesterosCraft Walks with your host, Dutchguard. Today we're here in Ashemark of the Westerlands, in the seat of House Marbrand. When you can tell it's the Westerlands because we've got these really beautiful Westerlands hills ahead of us here. I mean, they're really more like mountains, but they're usually described as hills in the books, and they aren't as big as the mountains of the Vale, so we'll call them hills. There are these really long, beautiful mountain ranges that stretch north to south across the Westerlands, and just over this farmland here you can see the top of the Ashemark Keep there, the seat of House Marbrand, as I said, which is one of the more powerful houses of the Westerlands. And just here we've got some farmland of the Marbrands, just stretching out into the distance here. We've got some nice scarecrows to keep away those pesky crows. And then down this road this way, it'll take you to the Crag and Lannisport, and just along the road this way, we'll be going into the town of Ashemark, which is a nice little quaint town. Another great example of Westerland-style architecture. If you recall from Deep Den, Deep Den's not too far away, and so it uses sort of the same textures, colors, and style. And this nice little vale of the Westerlands, we've got lots of trees, we've got a brook running through, just coming off of these big mountains in the background here. Just going into the town of Ashemark now, you can see some of the more lower-lying poor houses. We've got a nice little pig pen here outside of this little poor house, which is nice and quaintly furnished. We've got a little stove, seating area, and a bed, a very humble bed, and just sort of that thatch roof, which is sort of cheap materials that we like to use for the poorer homes of the Westerlands and in general. We've got this huge inn here of Ashemark, which we'll be exploring in just a sec. But I just want to go through, I think the main entrance to the town is here, and this lovely little archway, and that takes us out into the main square of the town as well, with this pretty big apple tree, chunky looking apple tree in the middle growing here. And here's that big inn, which I think is sort of the main feature of the town. And I checked all the rooms in here before, and there's a pretty realistic number of rooms. Usually inns aren't big enough to accommodate all the kinds of rooms that an inn might have, but this one had like, I think 20 different rooms with all kinds of different beds for all kinds of different people who are traveling along the road into Lannisport and stay here at Ashemark. Right, so here you can see some of the style of the Westerlands. We're using that dark-colored daub and wattle and these sandstone blocks. I love the mossy sandstone block in particular. I think it gives it a little bit more detail, a little more variety in the sort of the different materials that are used in the sandstone, because just one color of sandstone gets a bit boring, so you have to sort of incorporate this gradient, which is something that we suggest all of our builders practice, is just getting a gradient in of the different wood colors, different brick colors. It's just so much more interesting than a flat 2D color. And of course, in the Westerlands, we also use a lot of jungle and spruce mixtures of planks, which I think gives it sort of an interesting flavor, a different style. We also have some slate roofs as well. This must be another tavern, or perhaps this is a brewery. But no, I think it is a tavern. They might brew some of their own ale as well. You can see sort of, oh yeah, we've got some big tubs here, probably aging away, and lots of casks of ale being stacked up here. Very cool. And if we head up the road further through the town, eventually get to the castle, which is just up there. We've got this lovely little spring here, a nice little pool with some clothes hanging out, drying from being washed. What do we got here? Henry Noy and Sons Silversmiths. And of course, since we are on the Westerlands, they do have lots of gold and silver. I think this area of the Westerlands is notable for its silver. Silver Hill, of course, which is another location we'll be exploring in the near future, is known for its silver. And so different houses of the Westerlands sort of have their preference to either gold or silver. So here must be silver. We've got a giant, big, prosperous-looking silversmiths there. And so further heading up this road, just going into the main entrance through the portcullis of Ashemark, of the Castle Ashemark, I should say. Some of these locations in Westeros don't really have a name for the castles, like you have Winterfell of House Stark, but for Ashemark, you just sort of have Ashemark as the name for the town and the castle of House Marbrand. So sometimes you don't really have as specific details as you might with some of the more major locations. So we just call this Castle Ashemark. And it's a beautiful little castle. It's got sort of all of the features of an ordinary castle. Well, of an ordinary castle, of a large castle, but sort of made smaller, as it isn't as huge as some of the larger, more powerful houses. But you've got a nice little hall here. I know there's an even bigger hall somewhere. You've also got kitchens. You've got... Oh, here's a pretty cool thing. You've got some toilets here as well. You can see that always goes all the way down into some sort of bucket there. And then you actually have some stairs that go down for gong farmers to come down here and collect the waste. And a gong farmer is basically a poop collector, a fertilizer specialist, if you will. And they come around to all of the latrines and toilets and lavatories of Westeros and collect all of the poo for fertilizer for used in farming. And usually they have sort of their own little paddies outside of the town, far outside of the town, to collect all of that. And so this must be the main lord's chambers. You can tell by the very colorful canopy and bedding of this bed here. And those are the colors of House Marbrand. I think it is a burning tree. I'm not really sure why, but and their motto is supposed to be burning bright, I think. And up here we've got the Lord Solar, a nice little place for him to write some correspondence to the fellow lords of the Westerlands. Let's see if I can find myself on one of the taller towers here. I didn't really explore this place very well, so let's see where we end up. A nice little balcony here overlooking this courtyard where we first entered. I think if we just head around to the other side of the castle. Oh, more stairs. Yes, good. I think we're on the right path here. This feels like a bit of a tower. Oh, cool. So we got another nice little... Oh, God, this is the same place I was just at. I overplanned this and made a very circular keep. Just going around in circles. Da-da-da. There's the nice bed again. Right, so let's head through this way. Some of these castles just can be so maze-like. And a bit tricky to get through, but props to the builder, because that's not an entirely inaccurate way to build something, because our real-life castles tend to be pretty maze-like, and that's almost for defensive purposes as well. So this must be another one of the halls of this castle here, that other one that I mentioned. It's got a pretty high ceiling. Again, you can see the sigil of House Marbrand there. And this is the Lord's Day, where he can sort of watch his subjects feasting in his feast hall. Oh, cool, so this hearth... opens out on this side, also opens out into the kitchen behind it, which I think is pretty cool. Just love little features like that. Alright, let's see if we can head up to a high place of the castle here. This will be overlooking that hall, I think. Yeah, just down here. And if we walk up here, we're out onto the roof now, which is a nice little seating area, which is quite cool. And this must be some barracks, and oh, I think this is the Rookery. Now, this is before we implemented our new cage texture, so we used to use glass blocks. I'll be sure to come back here and fix that. But this is sort of our more primeval Rookery here, and I do know it's a Rookery because you've got some grain hanging about, and the Maester's chambers must be just down here. Yeah, I've got lots of bottles on the shelves here, as well as a nice little writing desk, and some greenery for growing some experimental plants, perhaps. Alright, so let's see if we can get our way up to the roof here with just a little bit of cheating. Yes, here we go. See if we can find a nice view onto the town. So, there it is. I really love the terrain around here. Again, you can see those mountains stretching all around us here. You can see even in the distance there a little stream running down from the mountain and coming out and heading out into the Westerlands. So that was just a short little video on a very nice little location, so I encourage you to check it out. /warp Ashemark. Guys, we have videos every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday, so I will see you for episode 30 next time.